Did Sisters just hint at a major cast shakeup? And it looks like some of your favorite characters might be on the chopping block. From Andy's take back to Gary's creepy comeback and Sabrina caught between two men, there's way too much drama to ignore. But the real question is, who's about to get the boot? Let's dive in because trust me, you won't believe what's coming next. What's up, CTube fam? It's been a minute, but I'm back with a much needed review of Sistas Season 8 Boss Lady. And I've got some serious thoughts about the potential for a cast shakeup that we need to talk about. With all the twists happening in the past few episodes, I have a strong feeling that some of our regulars are on the chopping block. Now, I don't know if it's going to be some of your faves, but trust me, the signs are there. And spoiler alert, it appears that Zach has solved the case, but Fatima is blocking. We've had a lot of pivots in the storyline, so let's break it all down. Starting with Gary's attack. We still don't know who's behind it, and honestly, I don't think we're ever going to get that satisfaction from the writers. It's becoming one of those unsolved mysteries where they want us to figure it out. So let's get into it. This episode gave us a lot to unpack, so let's start with the major scenes Andi named partner. In one of the episode's big moments, we see Andi officially named partner at the law firm after her meeting with the partners, including Fatima. This is a huge win for Andi, but it also feels bittersweet because of everything else happening around her, especially with Robin. It feels like a moment she's worked so hard for, but with Robin's farewell looming, can she fully enjoy it? Robin's potential farewell to Andi. Robin seems to be saying his goodbyes to Andi, and while it feels like this could be the end for him, will Andi really let him go? It's hard to say. Their relationship has been on a constant roller coaster, and this episode made it feel like Robin's exit could be imminent. Then in episode 21, just when Andi and Robin were getting close to reveal their feelings for each other, Penelope barges in, running to Robin like a damn cell. Looks like she took a page out of Andi's book. She really rubbed it on thick just to get under Andi's skin. It looks like it worked. Because that moment in the hall at the firm where Andi lets her know that she made partner was priceless. Penelope gave Andi the church clap and asked her if she wanted a cookie. Andi looked like Penelope broke her spirit. I'm like, Andi, did you really think Penelope cares if you made partner? Really? Penelope is out for revenge, and flirting with Robin is just the beginning, so Andi better watch her back. Robin did agree to try to help Penelope get Jordan out of lockup. Something tells me this could be the reason Robin sticks around a little longer. But it's up to Andi to give him a reason to pursue the judge appointment and stay indefinitely. Andi and Robin agreed to meet before he leaves for the UK, but will Andi make it? Mrs. Marie and Hudson's shocking plot. In a jaw-dropping twist, Mrs. Marie meets with Hudson, and it's revealed that they've been working together behind the scenes to take Gary down financially, if not in more sinister ways. After finding out that Hudson didn't deliver her shares back from Gary, Mrs. Marie dissed and dismissed Hudson right out of her suite. This completely shifts the power dynamics in Gary's world, but just as quickly as we learn about their plot, Gary gets the upper hand when Hayden shows up at the hospital. Hayden and Gary at the hospital, Hayden comes through for Gary in a big way, managing to revoke Hudson's power of attorney over him. Now Gary is back in control, free to resume his reign as Scary Gary. This was a major play by Hayden, and it makes you wonder just how deep his loyalty to Gary goes and how far they're willing to go together. In episode 21, both Gary and Hayden are at Gary's office. Hudson shows up and Gary gives him the boot. Hayden reveals to Gary that he knows that he got down and dirty with his girl Tamara. Hayden tries to attack Gary, but Gary just pushed him off like a fly. It was so effortless. In this scene, we find out that Hayden did show up with the knife at Gary and Andi's wedding, but he didn't try to unalive Gary. He actually dropped the knife that was used. This is a huge clue that basically removes Hayden as a suspect, but places the weapon at the scene of the crime. Mrs. Marie puts pressure on Karen and Pam Meanwhile, Mrs. Marie turns up the heat on Karen and Pam, pushing them to make good on their plans with roots to riches. Karen's been in a weird space lately, but she finally admits she's pursuing a relationship with Aaron. Yes, that Aaron, the same guy who's been shady in the past. Remember that woman who showed up at Karen's salon? Seems like Karen forgot all about that, but we haven't. In episode 21, Aaron and Karen are making it official with public display of affection. Okay, Karen. But in this episode, Karen and Pam are calling in everyone to help them sell more Roots to Riches Wreck Yo Edges. Oh wait, we found out that was a scam. It appears they are desperate. Can you believe they are going to make Maurice an ambassador? Messy Maurice? Sabrina and Armani return. Sabrina and Armani return from their trip to Turks and Caicos. But honestly, why didn't the show take us with them? I guess that wasn't in the budget. Things get a little awkward when Sabrina invites Armani inside, and surprisingly, Armani declines. He's clearly playing the long game here. Afterwards, Sabrina confronts Rich at the juice bar and things get real messy. Rich is in his feelings and dismisses her, but Sabrina's response? She pays for a stranger's order on her way out like she's saying bet. What does that even mean? Is she done with Rich? The whole situation fell off. Then in episode 21, Sabrina gets a visitor from her past. Calvin? Yes, Calvin. I guess the writers want closure between them, but I can care less. I've been over Calvin. What about you? Let me know in the comments. Moving on. Andi represents Danny in mediation. Andi's got Danny's back in a mediation with her employer's attorneys and her boss, Tony. Andi completely laid out an open and shut case, so it's only a matter of time before Danny is back to work. But Tony, I don't think his career is going to survive this. It's looking bleak for him, both professionally and in his relationship with Danny. In episode 21, we find that Andi has negotiated a $50,000 settlement for Danny and, of course, her job back. This is the Andi I want to see. However, I felt bad for Tony. His career is cooked after this. But we get Tony showing up at Danny's, getting down on one knee and proposing. Will she say yes? Jordan's fate looking grim. Finally, we have Jordan, who's in serious trouble. Penelope visits him in jail, and it's not looking good for him. It seems like he's being set up to take the fall for the attack on Gary, and honestly, it doesn't seem like Jordan has the mental stability to make it through this storm. His future is definitely in question. In episode 21, it looks like Jordan has lost all hope after being in lockup for 1 month. He asked Rich to look out for Penelope if something happens to him. But we all know if something happens to Jordan, Penelope is going to lose the little mental she has left. Rich is trying to tell Jordan that they are going to get him help, but he's not hearing it. Jordan is crashing out. And it is unfortunate because he's not the one who tried to unalive Gary, despite what Gary was trying to do to him. But apparently he's willing to go down without a fight. So it looks like we are not going to find out who actually tried to unalive Gary. Jordan's taking the fall. Fatima won't let Zach snitch. The writers are pivoting to new developing storylines, so we have to figure it out for ourselves. By process of elimination, there is only a few suspects left. Penelope, Hudson, and Tamara. Otherwise, it's someone who isn't a regular cast member. With that being said, who do you think it is? I've seen Hudson in the comments of previous videos, but wasn't Hudson with Andi waiting for Gary to come out? Before that, we saw him arguing with her friends, trying to kick them out. We did just find out he had a motive, which was to get Mrs. Marie's shares from Gary. But was that the plan before the attempt on Gary or after? I need more clues. Too bad Agent Watt was too fixated on Andi to do his job. Potential cast, shakeup, who's in and who's out. Now that we've broken down the episode, let's talk about the potential cast shakeup. These storylines are all pointing to some major character exits, and I've got my theories about who's sticking around and who's on their way out. What is Jordan's fate? Jordan is locked up, won't let him out, and after this episode, it feels like his storyline is coming to a close. I wouldn't be surprised if he takes the fall for Gary's attack and we see him written out of the show. He's been mentally unraveling, and it doesn't look like the writers are setting him up for redemption. Is Robin leaving again? Robin is giving major farewell vibes in this episode, and I'm torn about whether or not he's coming back. He's been in and out of the show for a while, and I feel like his goodbye to Andi could be the final one. If he does leave, it'll leave a huge gap in Andi's story. But maybe that's the shakeup the show needs. I just hope this don't send her back to Gary. If she falls for Gary's I have amnesia bit, Andi gets what she deserves. But her and Gary better watch their backs when it comes to Penelope, because she's around here blacking out. And I wouldn't be surprised if she was the one who tried to take Gary out the first time. She already had one motive, but if something happens to Jordan, that's it. Rich out, Armani in. I'm still Team Rich, but this episode made it seem like he's on his way out, especially with Sabrina's weird goodbye at the juice bar. Armani is definitely playing the long game, but I don't know if he's got the staying power that Rich does. I have a theory. What if Sabrina ends up pregnant the old-fashioned way and Rich is the daddy? But she finds out after moving on with Armani. I have a feeling we'll see a Rich versus Armani showdown in the near future. Will Tony be fired from his job and Danny's life? It's not looking good for Tony. His position at the company has got to be in jeopardy after Danny's big win. At that mediation, Danny seems ready to move on from him, both personally and professionally. If Tony loses his job and Danny, I don't see much of a future for him on the show. Will a proposal win Danny back? Will he still want to marry her if he loses his job? Is Aaron here to stay? Karen has admitted she's pursuing a relationship with Aaron baby daddy number 2, but we all know Aaron's got baggage. He's been shady in the past. And I'm not sure how long this will last. But for now, it seems like Aaron's here to stay. Whether that's a good thing or not remains to be seen. Too many men for the Sistas. The men are piling up in the Sistas universe. Zach, Gary, Rich, Armani, Aaron, Jordan, Tony, Robin. It's getting crowded. And I have a feeling some of these characters are going to be phased out soon. There's just too much going on with all these love interests and side stories. So what do y'all think? Are we in for a major cast shakeup? Who do you think is on their way out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's it for today's review. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all next time on C2.